Every passing hour, the search for missing loved ones intensifies. Families are begging for help on social media.
Did you find him? Do you see him anywhere?
Amid all the chaos, an outpouring of aloha. Donation drives are multiplying to get families the supplies they desperately need.
It can't happen fast enough.
And the breaking news continues on Maui tonight, where the death toll in Lahaina has risen to 53 lives lost.
But officials say that number is still expected to climb. The governor also said today that as many as 1,000 structures have been destroyed. Firefighters are making progress battling the 3 active blazes. The largest, the Lahaina fire, is now 80% contained. The Pulehu fire in an area Mauka of Kihei is said to be 70% contained. A containment percentage for the fire upcountry in Kula is still pending. State, county, and federal officials are telling the public tonight that help is on the way.
Another staggering number this evening. Maui's police chief says about 1,000 people are still missing. We have team coverage tonight. Our reporters standing by with new information and video. We'll start with Daryl Huff, who was just at the governor's news conference in Wailuku. Daryl?
Yes, Kiahi, the news conference was attended by media from all over the country. This is a major story, and it was limited to only an hour. So really many questions did not get answered. And I think that the main thing that came across was a very powerful description of how much they don't know. That number of 1,000 structures, they don't dispute it, but they say they're sticking to their earlier number of 271 structures, et cetera, et cetera. But Governor Green, after touring this Lahaina today, came in with a very sobering description of what he saw and what we could expect ahead.
It is going to take many years to rebuild Lahaina. When you see the full extent of the destruction of Lahaina, it will shock you. It does appear like a bomb and fire went off, if I may. And all of those buildings virtually are going to have to be rebuilt. It will be a new Lahaina that Maui builds in its own image, with its own values. But it's going to be billions of dollars.
If you just want to say, the reason the number is varied is somebody will say, how many residences are gone? Well, if you got a condominium or an apartment building that has 20 units, is that a structure or is that 20 units? You decide how you want to count that. In this case, it doesn't matter because the whole thing is gone. So it really depends the way you phrase the question. That's the answer you're going to get. But the easy part is, I'm telling you, none of it's there. It's all burnt to the ground.
Now, the mayor did describe a little bit more fully what he means none of it is there. He said it's from Puamana Street, which is at the northern end of Lahaina, to Chart House at the southern end of of Lahaina, and Mauka to Makai from the highway to Front Street. Now, one of the things that people have been demanding, and I've talked to many people today, they want to see the maps that have been used to describe this damage, because they think that that will show that, here's the area, here's the pictures, they have Google Maps to compare it to, they have aerial photos. Why can't they show us the burn zone so we could say, oh, my grandma lived in that burn zone, and maybe let the authorities know, so it could speed up the process of figuring out how many people are still there. One of the most sobering things we heard today was from the police chief, who said there are many, many bodies in the ground there, hinting that there is no way to know how many people have died and that that could get a lot worse. One glimmer of good news is that the federal government is promising to be fully funding many of those repairs. And finally, I'm not seeing any smoke. That's Central Maui. It doesn't mean the fires are gone, but it's a lot better than it was yesterday. Reporting live from Wailuku, Maui, Daryl Huff, Hawaii News Now.
All right, a lot to take in. Thank you, Daryl. President Biden has approved a national disaster declaration for Hawaii.
It unlocks federal resources to help in the massive response effort.
I've directed that we surge support to these brave firefighters and first responders and emergency personnel working around the clock there, risking their lives. I just got off the phone before I got here for a long conversation with Governor Josh Green this morning. Let him know I'm going to make sure the state has everything it needs from the federal government to recover.
California's Governor Gavin Newsom says he is deploying urban search and rescue teams to Maui. The Honolulu Fire Department is also sending 40 personnel, including firefighters and search and rescue specialists.
We have new aerial video of Lahaina tonight, shot by our crew, trying to get a better sense of the disaster zone. As Daryl Huff mentioned, the government hasn't provided any official estimate, but the fire cut through miles of this West Maui coastline. That gray wasteland now littered with gutted cars, buildings, and ash. The county says crews have begun to clear the streets with heavy machinery, but that process will take a very long time. An unknown number of residents whose homes were not burned are still there in Lahaina, desperately waiting for help.
Today, a convoy of vehicles carrying supplies found getting into the disaster zone isn't easy. Our Chelsea Davis joins us live with how residents are mobilizing to show support. Chelsea?
Yeah, Ke'ahi, Steph, I'm on the side of Honopi'ilani Highway in Ma'alaya, where things are a little bit more organized today. The National Guard is here, boots on the ground. I saw them out in Lahaina helping out, so great news. They also have these flashing orange signs all along Honopi'ilani Highway notifying drivers that only authorized vehicles are allowed into West Maui. So no longer are we seeing people waiting in their cars on the side of the road. They are checking them, and there are various checkpoints all along the highway. Again, only relief cars, donations, people who are helping and who are authorized are allowed to go in to help those on the west side. I was part of one of those authorized convoys that went out this morning, and we were escorted by a Maui police officer. We were taking goods to the people of West Maui. We dropped off goods to families in Napili and Honokauai, and it was shocking to me to see how many people are still left in West Maui. Not Lahaina, because there's not much left in Lahaina. Hardly anything is left there, but definitely thousands of people still in Ka'anapali, Kahana, Napili, and Honokauai, lining up for food, desperate for supplies.
Everybody's fighting for everything right now. But as my other half them's family is, they lost everything. Everybody lost everything. We don't know how we feel. I don't know how you guys supposed to feel.
What do you guys need right now?
Food, gas, water, anything, clothes. Get people out here, no more nothing. They no more they no more clothes, they no more nothing out here. They need stuff out here. Supplies, hygiene. Who knows? Anything can help.
Ice is like gold out there. We literally saw people running to our trucks for ice because people still don't have power. And gas as well, people fighting over gas, even trying to climb up onto our trucks, trying to get to our supplies. We dropped off water, food, clothes, but a huge challenge is getting those goods to the people who are still left in Lahaina town, the few people who are left, the people that I met when I went out there with Maui firefighters yesterday. Power poles and power lines are all still scattered across the roads, so it's difficult getting access to the people who need it the most. Back out here live in Ma'alaya, cell service is still down, so people are still having a hard time getting in touch with their loved ones out there. And while I was out there, part of that convoy, I saw a bunch of reunions and emotional embraces. It's still very emotional to see that people literally having to go out there to search for family members and just check and see if they're alive. Now, one thing that we did hear when we were out with Maui firefighters on the boat yesterday was the Coast Guard calling over the radio any boaters in the water in the area to please search for survivors. So even though this has been going on for a few days now, still not a lot of information for the residents out here. Reporting live in Ma'alaya, Chelsea Davis for Hawaii News Now.
All right, Chelsea, thank you. Maui County today opened a center to report residents still missing from the wildfires.
Arlene Kawano is at the Family Assistance Center in Kahului, where anxiety is building to reunite with loved ones. Lynn?
Absolutely, Stephen Ke'ahi, as the days drag on, understandably, people are growing more frustrated, more concerned. They're just desperate for some kind of answers. So they're now coming to the Family Assistance Center here in Kahului, hoping to get some help.
Maybe my dad is at Maui Prep, or maybe there's some other person from my neighborhood that I would recognize and be like, did you find him? Do you see him anywhere?
Liza Tobias evacuated Tuesday night as flames closed in on her Lahaina home. But her dad, Carlos Tobias, refused to go too. She hasn't seen him since, and after walking into Lahaina, she knows her home burned. She is hoping someone picked him up, and communication problems are keeping him from contacting her. She's not alone.
If I could go over there, I would go to her place, but I heard you couldn't even call the police and ask them to go because of what's going on.
Melinda Young is worried about her friend and co-worker, Mona Cole. She's also trying to remain optimistic, but knows the fast-moving flames took so many by surprise. The Family Assistance Center here at Kahului Community Park is open until 8 o'clock tonight and reopens at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. It's unclear if it will continue through the weekend. We'll keep you posted. I'm Lynn Kawano, Hawaii News Now.
You know, as Chelsea was reporting earlier, the access to several areas in West Maui remains closed right now. So we're going to show you those areas right now. As Maui County officials have put out, the access into West Maui, into Lahaina, is very limited to emergency vehicles only. Okay, so you see the purple indicated right there, showing you where the stoppage is. Ma'alai is one checkpoint. And if you go to the other side, Kahakaloa, you're allowed to leave through Kahakaloa, but not allowed to come back in. So on the other side, Wai'ehu is where they have another police blockage point. So be aware of that. That limit to get into that area is still in effect. Only go there with ER vehicles is approved. That's your latest right here on First Alert Traffic on Hawaii News Now.
Thank you so much, Jonathan. We will be tracking a few showers into the night. Right now, 83 degrees over leeward neighborhoods of Maui. You see your hour-by-hour forecast, limited rain as we stretch into the overnight hours. About a 10% chance, at times maybe 15% chance. And then notice afternoon highs have been very warm. We've been sitting in the mid-80s, but now in the low 80s. And we will be tracking that area of high pressure continuing to pull away from us along with Dora. So we're on the backside of that now, and that means much slower winds will be on the way. Typical trade wind speeds of about 10 to 20 miles per hour, at times 10 to 15. Still seeing some wind returns on the map here, so that's an indication that it's still quite breezy in some spots. I'll take a deeper look at when we can expect some more rain coming up in a little bit.
Thank you very much, Jen. It's time for us to take a short break. We'll be back.
Welcome back. The Department of Education says 4 West Maui schools were impacted by the fires, either burned or left without utilities. The DOE will need to get new schools or resources for about 3,000 students and about 300 faculty and staff. King Kamehameha III Elementary was near Lahaina's Front Street, along with that iconic banyan tree. And look at this. Satellite images show many of the school's buildings have burned to the ground.
So why is this so difficult for you personally?
Joya, sorry, you asked me the question again. They themselves have experienced loss. You know, so they're, I know, trying to balance that personal loss with having to take care of everyone in their community.
And this is new video today from Lahaina Luna Road showing buildings still standing, but the superintendent says he needs an official assessment first before he talks about the next steps. Tonight, we've learned more than 14,000 visitors have already been moved off Maui, and even more are expected by the end of the day today.
Airlines are trying to help. Our Jolani Martinez is live at the Honolulu airport tonight after speaking with passengers who had to evacuate. Jolani?
Keahi, Steph, flights are frequently coming in from Kahului. You know, we were here this morning and there were people arriving from Maui about every half hour. The Hawaii Tourism Authority says since yesterday they've helped nearly 30,000 people off island, but there's also residents flying to Oahu and staying here indefinitely.
It's just going to take a while to digest everything that's happened.
Janine Carr flew in from LA Tuesday night. She stayed with friends in Wailea for 2 days. Her husband has been at their Kahana home with no electricity and suggested she stay in Oahu in the meantime.
I'm waiting for the electricity to be returned so that I know the grocery stores, like I said, are closed.
We're in the dark.
Chuck and Kim Wetherington had to evacuate from their Ka'anapali hotel this morning. They said they had limited cell service and they had to call family in the mainland to book their flights and are heading home tonight. Although their vacation was cut short, they're more concerned about the residents who've lost everything.
We were minorly inconvenienced, and these people are going to have to rebuild their entire lives. So, from our perspective, it's not a big deal for us to have to go through this. For them, it's really tragic.
Driving through it this morning on the way out, the pictures are devastating. They don't show the expansiveness of it. It is huge.
The Hawaii Lodging and Tourism Association says hotels on Maui are relocating guests to sister properties on Oahu. Alaska Airlines also told us they've added a special inter-island flight from Maui to Oahu to help people evacuate. Reporting live from the Daniel K. Inouye International Airport, Jolani Martinez, Hawaii News Now.
For those in need on Maui after the break.
And we're finally seeing slower winds, and we're seeing no wind alerts up. Yesterday, we had that small craft advisory encompassing all of the islands. This morning, it scaled back over the far eastern end of the state. Now, no alerts are up. But we are going to still see some moderate trade winds and double digits, anywhere from 10 to 20 miles per hour. At times, gusts have been clocking in nearly 30 to 35 miles per hour today. And we're still seeing that present, especially over Maui County, where the most gusty winds still are present into the evening hours. Right now, this is where we stand in the low 80s and mid 80s, a slow cool down into the evening hours. And take a look at how far Dora has traveled now to the west. And we are seeing that area of high pressure continue to move away from us as well. With these two components pulling away from the island chain, we're seeing the winds much slower in speed. And not a whole lot of rain, but a few showers windward of Maui. It was a welcome sight to wake up to some showers over windward Maui this morning, and notice a few showers through Waimea, through Hilo, and also Volcano. So more showers could be on the way over those windward Maui neighborhoods, but we'll likely be seeing not a whole lot over leeward neighborhoods and still seeing some smoky conditions, but big improvements there. As far as drought conditions, now we're seeing some severe drought that has been over Maui the last couple of days and months. Things really dried out for us. Also, we're seeing moderate drought conditions that you see on Hawaii Island. For the rest of us, abnormally dry. So we need the rain, and it looks like maybe a slight chance of showers coming into the picture sometime Monday night into Tuesday as a disturbance passes just north of the state, and that could squeeze out a few more showers. So we're looking forward to that. Area of high pressure continues to build away from us, and then notice back to normalized trade wind flow, about 10 to 15 mile per hour winds into Monday, Tuesday of next week. Then eventually over the eastern Pacific, we're watching another system that could be in the works, and this one likely a named storm by the time we get into Wednesday of next week. And there it is, maybe taking a north path of the islands according to the long range weather model. So be watching this area very carefully. Right now it has not developed yet, but there is an 80% chance within 5 days. So we have to watch the eastern Pacific very carefully. Island by island, it's all about the winds coming down in speed at 10 to 15, at times 10 to 20 miles per hour. We will be rising pretty quickly in the upper 80s after starting off in the low 70s. And then notice how warm afternoon highs still are. West Hawaii afternoon clouds, a few windward Maui showers. Along Hilo, a few showers as well. And going towards North Hawaii, we're talking about 10 to 20 mile per hour winds. And into the next couple of days, box jellyfish, be careful. And when things are leveling out when it comes to surf, 3 to 5 on east facing shores, with that Dora swell dropping significantly. So no major alerts are up, more of a typical trade wind pattern for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. The wind speeds are scaling back to 10 to 15 miles per hour. We'll keep that going, hoping for more rain Monday into Tuesday. We'll be keeping a very close eye on that.
I want to talk to you about the commute into East Honolulu right now. You see right in front of Kaimuki, H1 flowing very, very nicely. So as we begin the commute in, we have one accident to tell you about on Moanalua Freeway to Pu'aloa Road southbound. That's a little bit to the left of your screen, so not too much to worry about as you make your way into Hawaii Kai. Look at this nice and green right here. It's looking very good as you get out of Kaimuki and get into Aina area. Again, it remains green, a little bit of yellow and a little bit of red in Aina into town. But as you make your way into the Port Lock area, I gotta tell you, it's gonna look pretty nice, okay? So as you look into this scope here, as you look in Hawaii Kai, nice and clear. If you want to get to Sandy Beach and Hanauma Bay, again, that area, all nice and clear. So your drive time right now to Hawaii Kai is gonna take you a mere 30 minutes, of course, first on the H1 and then to the Kalani Anaole Highway. Have a great afternoon. It's First Alert Traffic here on Hawaii News Now.
Thank you so much, Jonathan. Earlier this afternoon, Oprah Winfrey visited evacuees at the shelter set up at the War Memorial Gymnasium in Wailuku. The former talk show host and media mogul is one of Maui's biggest private landholders, owning more than 1,000 acres in Kula and Hana. She reportedly promised the people there that she would help buy much needed supplies like blankets, cots, toiletries, and other items. Many of the people who survived the fire in Lahaina escaped with their lives, but not much else.
Our Allison Blair shows us how the community is mobilizing to get food and other supplies where they are needed the most.
This donation drop-off held at the state capitol was one of several happening across Oahu today. Organizers tell me by noon, more than 100 people had already stopped by to give.
Oh, praise God, right on. Holy smokes.
A steady stream of people pulled into the Capitol Thursday, their vehicles overflowing with donations. Hugh Tanabe and his wife Karen say they spent the morning gathering all sorts of supplies, food, towels, and other essentials. The couple says they wanted to do everything they could to help their neighbors.
We lived on Maui for a long time, and you know, that's part of our home.
Inside the Capitol, volunteers sorted supplies before they're packed up and shipped out. Another donation drop-off is scheduled for tomorrow here at the state capitol, same time from 10 in the morning until 2 p.m. They're asking anyone taking a tour of the Capitol during that time to not park in the roundabout. At the state capitol, Allison Blair, Hawaii News Now.
And if you would like to help the people of Maui, scan the QR codes on your screen for fundraisers from the Salvation Army and the American Red Cross.
GoFundMe has also compiled a list of verified fundraisers for families and communities. We also have a link to that at hawaiinewsnow.com. And as we say goodnight and carry on at 5:30, let's take one last look at the aerial video of Lahaina and just take a moment to take it all in. Every day brings a new realization on the scope of the damage here. Not just one part of town, not even just one town, but miles and miles of this West Maui coastline. Not just one community, but each pocket here of these homes, a separate, distinct community, now completely gutted and gone. Look out for each other. Stay safe. The news continues next at 5:30.
With the Hawaii News Now mobile app, breaking news is in the palm of your hand. Sponsored by Hawaii Ship, free local one-on-one Medicare counseling.
Raising the cost of goods on Maui is now illegal. Today, the State Office of Consumer Protection enacted a price freeze through the end of August. Any merchants raising prices beyond levels from yesterday will be breaking state law, as instated through 2 emergency proclamations. Violators face fines of up to $10,000. Future emergency proclamations could extend the freeze. To report violations, look for state contact information on our website, hawaiinewsnow.com. Matson says it's mobilizing to help with disaster response efforts on Maui. The shipping company has chartered an additional barge, which will be standing by for emergent requirements in support of the relief efforts. And Hawaii Public Utilities Commission is also allowing Matson to temporarily carry disaster response and relief goods and equipment between Honolulu and Maui. Meantime, Alaska Airlines says it is sending rescue flights and wildlife relief to Maui. A rescue flight left Seattle this morning, headed to Hawaii filled with supplies, including water, non-perishable food, pillows, blankets, and baby supplies. The airline is also adding an extra flight between Maui and Honolulu tonight to help move guests off of Maui. The flight will then return from Oahu with critical supplies for Maui's recovery. Hundreds of pets are also being impacted by the fires. If we show you this video right here, you can see this dog suffered severe burns but is now in stable condition. We have Katie Shannon from the Maui Humane Society joining us live tonight. Katie, what is the situation right now at the Humane Society, and how many animals have been helped so far since the fires?
Yeah, aloha, Stephanie. Yeah, we're here on the Valley Isle, and you know, it is so devastating to see the images of Lahaina and Kula and Kulehu and everything that has been damaged so far. Maui Humane Society has gotten together. So many volunteers have helped prep kennels and prep food for bringing supply kits to the shelters where people are going to be meeting for refuge. And it really is inspiring. But unfortunately, because the roads have been closed and only to emergency personnel, we haven't been able to get on boots on the ground quite yet. So unfortunately, we don't even have the ability to really assess how many hundreds of animals are in need of medical care or need to be reunited, hopefully, with their owners. So we are waiting for that official okay. And until then, we are prepping the shelters with supplies so that we can keep animals with their owners.
So access remains an issue. On that note, if someone comes across an animal that's injured or they may have lost a pet during the fires, what should they do?
The first thing we want people to do is to file a lost report. This is going to allow us to see and have access to, once we are actually in Lahaina, potentially to go into homes if we are given the access to see if we can find any animals or animal remains. But if there is a live animal, we want to make sure that there is a filed lost report or a filed found report so that we can try to reunite owners and with their pets as soon as possible.
We know that you folks were over capacity even before this disaster happened. How can folks clear out and make more space in the shelter to make more room for those animals when they do arrive?
And I will say the community, again, has stepped up. We have gotten more than 60 animals out of the shelter in less than 24 hours, 30 of them including dogs, which has allowed the space in our kennels to allow animals coming through. Once that road opens through the Lahaina bypass, we know that we are going to be inundated with animals, and we know that people are going to be looking for their animals here. So we are happy now to see the community step up and bring animals into their own homes. You know, you heard the governor ask for anyone that can help to help, and that's exactly what we are asking for as well. We have created a Facebook group to help people here on Maui or in the community if they are able to offer help, to post what they are able to offer, and for people that need help so that we can connect the community and try to bypass the shelter resources as much as possible to try to get Maui back on its feet.
So for more on how you can donate and also volunteer, you can go to the MauiHumaneSociety.org website. Katie Shannon from the Maui Humane Society, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
The situation on Maui is still pretty critical, so we want to talk to you about all the closures that still exist. You know, Chelsea has been doing a great job telling us what's going on. But again, the emergency crews are the only ones that are being allowed to access the area right now. You see the closure, all of that purple right there, it just gives you a big indication of what's not being allowed right there. Now, you're allowed to leave the area via the Kahakaloa area, okay? But again, coming back into the greater part of Ka'anapali, Kapalua, all of the resort area, it's strictly forbidden. Police have posted a roadblock, so to speak, at Wai'ehu right there and also in Ma'alai. So it's best that you adhere to these stoppages right now just because of what's going on in Lahaina. We'll keep you updated when these roads reopen, but it's not going to be tonight, that's for sure. That's your latest First Alert traffic here on Hawaii News Now. Jen, over to you.
Thank you so much, Jonathan. And it has been a warm afternoon for us. Temperatures in the mid-80s still. Not seeing a whole lot of rain today, but earlier today, a welcome sight. We did wake up to some rain on Maui, Windward, and Mauka, but you see many of those leeward neighborhoods pretty limited in the evening hours. Right now, 83 degrees will slowly slide down into the 70s. That area of high pressure and Dora continues to move west, and we're on the backside of it now, and that means the winds are relaxing quite a bit, but we're still seeing breezy conditions, especially over Maui County. Earlier today, gusts up to even 35 miles per hour. Now that's scaled back to about 30 miles per hour. That area of high pressure and Dora continues to move west of the islands, and then notice will be normalized when it comes to our winds, back to typical trade wind pattern for Monday, Tuesday into Wednesday, and then we'll have to watch this over the eastern Pacific. Another tropical cyclone in the works. Here we are Wednesday, August 16th, and go forward in time. Here we are Friday. It's a little too early. It has not developed yet, but the weather models are showing that it could be moving north of the islands by the time we get into Friday into Saturday, and that could actually move into cooler waters. So that's good news, as it could be falling apart, but we'll be watching that. About an 80% chance within the next 5 days. As far as your island by island forecast, typical trade winds, more pleasant speeds at 10 to 20 miles per hour, a few splashes windward and Mauka, and it is going to be very dry and also warm during the afternoon hours, not getting a whole lot of rain, but your typical showers at night, and we'll see that probably pick up during the afternoon over West Hawaii with some clouds and just a few showers. For the rest of us, nighttime showers through the morning hours over on Hilo side, and North Hawaii looking pretty good as well. Honoka'a about 84 degrees. And surf is going to be leveling out on north facing shores 0 to 2, west facing shores at 3 to 5. Watch out for the box jellyfish that have been reported in town, and east facing shores at 3 to 5. As we walk on through the next 7 days in Hawaii, we're talking about much slower speeds and winds east about 10 to 15 miles per hour. Keep that going for Saturday into Sunday. So in the next 3 days, classic trade winds, pleasant trade wind weather, in fact. And then our way probably Monday into Tuesday. Some weather models paint a little bit more rain in the picture, so we're hoping for that to come our way, especially over on Maui.
Make sure we take care of everybody else.
The Oahu drop-off site's opening to receive donations and the items Maui residents need most. Coming up next at 5:30. The Hawaii sports community is rallying around Maui. Our KHNL shows us how the Nanakuli football team is working to help.
The Golden Hawks and the Sabres were set to kick off the 2023 season this Saturday. But when West Maui was ravaged by the fire, football was the furthest thing on anyone's mind.
It's bigger than football. It's bigger than a sport when we're talking about lives and the many lives that are affected by this.
Once head coach Keely Watson and his team got the news that their game was canceled, they immediately jumped in to help efforts in the Nanakuli community to help Maui. There's a donation drive happening at the school today and tomorrow.
People from Nanakuli who just want to make sure we take care of everybody else. Maui was a tremendous host to us last year. We just want to pay it forward. We didn't create this drive, but when we seen the opportunity, we definitely did jump on it.
Relief efforts have also been started by Hawaii athletes at the highest levels.
Our families on Maui are suffering right now.
MMA fighter and former Bellator champion Ilimele McFarland posted an emotional video on social media announcing a fundraiser she's starting with her nonprofit. A bittersweet day for the fighter who announced her next title fight on the same day.
It should be like a happy time right now, but I can't really be happy. I am setting up a fundraiser through Nāwahine.
And Maui native and former major leaguer Shane Victorino offered a message of hope for his hometown.
We're cut from a different cloth, and the spirit of Loa will always shine. And I know that the people back home, will come together. We will rebuild this community, and as I said, I'll be one of the many that will be at the forefront of this rebuild, and I will make sure that my home will always, I will always be there for my home.
Now, these are just some of the athletes that have started relief efforts. We have posted a full list of how you can donate on our website. KHNL, Hawaii News Now.
Thank you, Kyle. And here are some donation drop spots. If you are on Oahu and have items to donate to Maui, North Shore Sporting Goods in Haleiwa is accepting donations from 11 to 5 tomorrow. A pop-up at Ala Moana Center is accepting donations tomorrow from 1 to 6. The Surf Jack Hotel in Waikiki will be accepting donations until August 20th, and Hui Mahi'ai Aina Camp Village in Waimanalo until August 13th. We're told residents are in need of clothes, blankets, towels, toiletries, canned goods, dry food, and also baby supplies like diapers and baby wipes. You know, so much aloha has been pouring in, and there are many drop-off sites. As Kyle mentioned, we've compiled the list of all of them and posted the list on our website. Our coverage of the Maui brush fires continues at 6 on KGMB and K5.
With the Hawaii News Now mobile app, breaking news is in the palm of your hand. Sponsored by Hawaii Ship, free local one-on-one Medicare counseling.